Hello, welcome to Kelly's Cult Classics. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the second Book of the Month Club book that I got, my book for July. So like usual, at I think it was the end of June, they put up the 5 choices for July. I read through them. I knew instantly which one I wanted to get, and that was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I just, first the cover drew me in. The cover is beautiful. I love it, the colors and just how the woman on it is positioned. And then also, I read the description, and it's supposed to be a suspenseful novel. It's supposed to be a revival of Gothic suspense, kind of in the tune of Jane Eyre, or it kind of got a sense of Haunting of Hill House. Those kind of books, just very suspenseful, slow burn novels. So I was super excited about this. I was super excited. However, after reading it, I'm very torn about what I think. Honestly, it's one of those books where I finished it a week ago and I'm just still kind of mulling it over. So the general synopsis of the book is there is a girl, I think her name is pronounced Naomi, but honestly I'm bad at pronunciation, so it's possible it's not pronounced that way. I'm gonna pronounce her name Naomi for this video. If anyone's read this book and is like, that's actually not how you pronounce her name, please correct me, because the whole time I was calling her Naomi and I was well aware that I could be wrong. So Naomi is a daughter of a pretty wealthy Mexican family in the 50s. So this is post-colonial, post-revolution Mexico, which was another reason it drew me. I love historical fiction books about periods of history that aren't popular, particularly periods of history that aren't World War II, because I feel like every historical fiction book is about World War II and it's a little ridiculous. So that was part of it. I thought it would give me a really interesting perspective about something that usually doesn't get a book written about it. So she's from a wealthy family. Her cousin, a year before the book starts, her cousin married this guy who's the family thought the guy was after the cousin's money, and they had a very fast engagement and were married after 3 weeks, and they haven't really heard from the cousin since, until they get this really strange letter that makes it seem like she's having a mental break. And the father sends Naomi to this remote mansion where this family lives to go check out the situation. So Naomi does. And now at first and not only at first, but kind of throughout, I had issues liking Naomi just because she was from a very privileged background, and you could tell that, and so I kind of had trouble relating to that because there was times where she did act very spoiled or privileged, and I'm just like, oh my god, Naomi, stop. But I did warm up to her throughout the novel. And while there are still moments where I'm like, why, Naomi, did you just do that? I did warm up to her. Now, she goes to this mansion, and the mansion is owned by an English family who came from England to Mexico in, I think it was the late 1800s, and opened up this mine. And the mine is now closed, and the family they're one of those rich families who still has this beautiful house and keep up the airs of being rich, but they're not anymore, they're cash poor. So that's kind of where the family is, and I think that the author was trying to speak to the legacy of colonialism there. So she goes to this mansion, and then obviously suspenseful things start to happen. And okay, so like I said, I am very torn about this book. There are things I think the author did wonderful, including describing the setting and making the setting just very eerie, and the characters were very specific and detailed, and I felt like I really knew the characters and I could picture in my head how they were acting. And she did a wonderful job of setting up a suspenseful tone to the entire novel. So those are pluses, and that's why I'm kind of torn, because there are some things, she's a great writer and can obviously write settings well and detailed and characters well and give characters depth, and have this like suspenseful and eerie tone just draped over the whole novel beautifully. For me, the issues were mainly, I had a hard time getting into it. It's a slow burn, so that's why I kept pushing through. But I just felt it was a very slow burn, and the first, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I was on page 50 and then page 75, and I felt like things really still hadn't gotten started yet, and it was still just a lot of exposition, which I was just looking for it to, like, kind of, you know, turn up the flame just a tad bit. But honestly, like, I could have put that aside if, you know, the middle and the end just got, like, really intense and great. And then the, like, twist happened, and that's where it kind of lost me. So Moreno Garcia, I think, had a lot of things she wanted to say. And I think what she wanted to say are great things that should be said. So, like, like, some themes that she brought up a lot were eugenics and how dangerous eugenics are, and racism. There's a lot of issues involving sexism, post-colonial legacies, domestic abuse. So I think there's a lot of great things that she wanted to say. I think that she just kind of got lost in the parallels she was making, or at least I got lost in the parallels she was making, because when the twist happened, there was just a lot that went on. The only feeling I could give that was similar was when I watched the movie Gone Girl. About halfway through, I felt like how I felt halfway through this book, where I'm like, okay, I see, I think I know where this is going, okay. And then we get to the twist, and then by the end of the movie of Gone Girl, I'm like, what the hell did I just watch? And it was very similar by, like, the end of the book. I'm like, what did I just read? So I thought going into it, the twist was gonna be like a ghost, maybe some mind control, or something like that, you know, because I thought it was just going to be very in the spirit of, like, Haunting of Hill House. I don't know why, I just was getting that vibes from the description, and so I thought it would be something like that. And then the twist, the best I could say, it kind of involved, like, a cult surrounding mushrooms. I'm not, like, kind of like the drugs, like shrooms, but also just general mushrooms and fungus. And that was just odd. I didn't, like, I kind of got it, but then at the same time, like, okay, that was a choice. Mushrooms. And then there was, like, eating children and marrying your cousins or your sisters. And there was trapping women in this thing. And then there's this part with this woman, Agnes's body, who was kind of controlling this, like, fog state that they would go into. There was just, like, a lot going on. Like, the twist wasn't just this, like, one twist. There was just a lot of aspects of it, and it was just so hard to follow and so much going on. I felt kind of overwhelmed, and I don't know if that was, like, intentional on the author's part, wanting people to feel overwhelmed, or if I don't know, like, it was just got so weird, and things got so disgusting at certain points, which, I mean, like, yeah, great, she did some parts. If she wanted me to feel disgusted, I definitely did. Like, there was this one part where someone's puking, like, pus into someone's mouth while they're kissing them, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't need that visual. And, like, this old guy who has, like, these open sores that smell really bad, and I'm just like, this is gross. And there's, like, these uncomfortable, like, sexual assault scenes, basically, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel incredibly uncomfortable and grossed out right now. So, like I said, she really succeeded with the tone of, like, grossness and creeped out. A+. But it's just, like, I feel at some points just the wildness of the end kind of detracted away from the messages she was trying to send, because I just got so distracted being like, what is going on right now? It was honestly a wild ride, and, like, when I was done, I literally just walked into the other room, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this book. Like, I really wanted to love it, but there's just, like, so, it was just so weird. I don't know. on Book of the Month Club, the app, you can rate the books you read, except they only give you loved, liked, and disliked. I really wish there was like a smiley face with just like a straight mouth, like a okay book. I would have put that in this book in that category, because it's like I didn't not like it, but I also didn't necessarily like it. I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts and feelings. It's one of those books where it's just like, you read it and you're like, I don't honestly know what I just read, and I need to stew on this for about the next 5 years. And maybe in 5 years I can form a proper opinion about what I read. So my July book, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm glad I read it. I think it was an interesting book, and I've never read a book like it. But I don't know. So July wasn't as good as June, and it was surprisingly because like in June, The Vanishing Half, I felt like the author had a lot to say and said it well, whereas this one I feel like the author had a lot to say and didn't say it as well, and so I thought that was interesting. That was kind of like the same concept, but like one did it well and one didn't. So loved it at parts, didn't like it at other parts, confused at a lot of parts. Well, that's my video. I hope you guys liked it. Please let me know if you guys have Book of the Month, if you're interested in Book of the Month. I'll keep doing these so that we can see over time if they end up being a good deal, if it's worth it, if you like these kind of books. So I'll keep doing this each month I get it. Of course, like I said, there are 5 books to pick from, and I'm just picking one of the books, so that doesn't necessarily mean I'm picking the best book. I do try to research them a little bit before I pick the books, but we'll see. I'll keep doing this. We'll see what August has to bring. But I'm really excited about it. I'll do it at least for, you know, maybe 6 months to really get a good sense of it, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to keep it, if I think it's worth it, or if I want to move on to either just not doing a subscription, or maybe I'll find like a different subscription I like. I don't know. But yeah, so that was my first Book of the Month Club video. It's gonna be kind of a little mini series on this channel. Like my video, comment on my video, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day. Bye.